Hey, welcome to Life in the Leadership Lane. I'm your host, Bruce Waller, where I get to talk to leaders that are making a difference in the workplace and in our communities. What did they do to get started? And what are they doing to stay there? And oh my goodness, are you in for a treat today as I'm bringing you another special guest? As today, I'm getting to talk to Caroline Cook. Caroline is the 2025 president for CMARC, which stands for Charlotte Metro Area Relocation Council. And she's also serves in business development for CWS Corporate Housing. Caroline, I'm so excited to have you on the show. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, so great. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Yes. And okay, so I always like to reflect when I met my guests. Some guests I've had on the show, I haven't actually met them. Maybe I read their book but for you, I want to see if you remember this.
Uh-oh.
We were doing a foundation walk
I
in
do.
Las
Yes.
Vegas, Nevada at ERC. Do you remember that?
Absolutely do. Do you remember what we talked about?
Were we talking about books
We were talking about books, but we were also talking about podcasts.
and podcasts? And here we
Mm-hmm.
are.
And here we are.
And here we are. Oh my God. It's so funny. I was at an event one time. Mel Robbins, who is a great motivator, was speaking. I remember her saying a conversation can change people's lives. And we had great conversations that day, and I can't
Mhm.
wait to get into this conversation today. Okay, so for those who don't know, when we're going to talk CMARC, we're going to talk conference today. But for
Mhm.
those who don't know CWS Corporate Housing, share just a brief highlight of who CWS is and how you serve your customers.
So, CWS Corporate Housing is a corporate housing, temporary housing provider. So, we were founded about 30 years ago in Round Rock, Texas, which is right outside of Austin. And now we serve we have 11 offices around predominantly the Southeast and East Coast. Our model is that we are your boots on the ground. We serve people through our network, our amazing network, and we are the ones that go in. We only service areas where we have property and people. So you know that the CWS representative is going to be the one that's walking your unit. We take such pride in being very, very, very high touch.
Well, and I'm in
Yeah.
the household goods moving, and I know
Mm,
many times families, they're like, they don't have a home. They need
yeah.
some temporary housing, or there's just so
Mm-hmm.
many different needs that you serve. And so I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
you sharing that. Hey, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we've known each other for a long time, but I bet
Mm-hmm.
there's some things
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Share
Mm-hmm.
real quick. I want to hear the Caroline Cook story. Like, where did you grow up, and what led you to the world of mobility and leadership in these volunteer organizations?
So I didn't really grow up anywhere. I moved around my whole life. My dad was in the hotel industry. So I went to 8 schools growing up. I've lived in the Bahamas, St. Martin, South Carolina, North Carolina, Illinois, Seoul, South Korea. So I've not only moved domestically, I moved internationally.
You were
I
born
know.
for the mobility business. I'm telling you.
And I
And
and
I
I
didn't know you
didn't
lived in
know
the
it.
Bahamas.
I did. Well,
Yeah.
and I don't really remember it. I remember
Mm.
sand.
Yeah.
Um, my mom, yeah, we lived in the Bahamas at the time when my mom was pregnant with me. And so I actually was born in Seneca, South Carolina,
Mm.
and mom flew back. So, mom told me, she goes, yeah, I flew like 9 months pregnant. And I'm like, I don't think they would really want you to do that anymore. um, yeah, and then we lived there for I guess 3 years. I guess I don't remember, but I do remember St. Martin. St. Martin. I went to first
Mm.
grade there. There was hardly any schools there at the time. I'm not going to tell you what year it was. It was a while ago, but it's half Dutch, half French, and I went to school on the Dutch side. We lived on the French side. The property that my dad worked at the time was called Mullet Bay, and it was right next to the airport.
Mm.
So if you know St. Martin is the airport that the airplane like almost lands on the beach pretty much. So people will come and you'll get blasted with the wind. Still the same place. So the Mullet Bay was right next to that. Yeah, it was. I remember that. It was a
W-
beautiful time. I loved it.
And where did you actually graduate from? What state were you in at that time?
Okay, so this is everybody laughs at this too. I actually graduated high school in Seneca, South Carolina.
Okay.
So I know it sounds like if I say where were you born, where did you graduate high school, it sounds like I haven't been anywhere.
You're
But my my family is literally like we were one of the first people that came to South Carolina, like literally. And so my family was my dad's family was in Seneca, and when my dad retired, we moved back to Seneca, which was really cool. So it was very interesting, actually, because I think I had more culture shock moving from Seoul, South Korea to Seneca, South Carolina, than I did moving to Seoul, South Korea. It was a little quiet compared to what Seoul was, but
I love it.
yeah.
I love
Mm-hmm.
it. Full circle moment. I love
Full
that.
circle.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk conferences here. I mean, you're the president of CMARC this year, and you're getting ready to put on your spring conference, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to ask you, like,
Mm-hmm.
whenever I think about going to a conference and going to a meeting, I always try to put myself in the shoes of first somebody walking in for the first time. And I think
Mm-hmm.
back about the first time I went to an event and how, I don't know, I remember it just kind of being like daunting and unfamiliar. And you're just like, hey, what's going to happen here? And then here we are all these years later and we just love it. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember the first time you went to I don't know, maybe a mobility conference and what that was like?
I do. So I've only been in the mobility space for 4 years. March will
Okay.
be 4 years for me. I came from a meeting plan. I used to own my own meeting planning
Mm.
event design company. So there's two hats that I have on every time I go to a meeting. And old habits die hard. So I will fall into meeting planning roles. Some of my very first events didn't know anybody, and somehow I migrated behind the registration desk because that is my habit of doing.
Mm.
It was really hilarious. So, but my first events actually were virtual.
Mm.
So, because we were still kind of in COVID. So I got to know the industry through virtual. What was really amazing about this industry and what's so different than what the industry that I was in the past is that there is a very strong sense of community, family, support. All of these amazing words that you hear all the time that are used and thrown out there is really true and experienced in this
Mm.
field. So one of the first virtual events that I went on was actually an international one. And, there's people from everywhere and every, piece of the pie of mobility. And I, was introduced as, hi, first time listener, first time caller, kind of a thing. The whole time on my chats, my competitors were the ones that were reaching out to me. They
Mm.
were the ones that were saying, do you know what your role is? Do you know who you're going after? Do you know the players for corporate housing? Do you understand how it works? And it was my competitors were the ones that educated me on my job, so to speak, and who I'm going after. That is not the norm in other
Mm.
industries. So, it's just a beautiful learning experience
Mm.
knowing that your competitors are your friends and colleagues and supporters and biggest cheerleaders, which is really a completely different feeling than I've felt before. My first in-person event was SRRC, and it was at the Don Cesar.
Mm.
And I knew one person. I knew one person. That was it. And I had just met her like a month before. Again, it was one of the first in person events. So you could tell there was a lot of hugging, a lot of catching up, a lot of giggles, people, finally, the doors were released and everyone's going crazy seeing each other. But at the same time, which we're seeing more and more and more now, is there's a lot of new people in this
Mm.
industry, because of COVID, because of transitions, who knows? But there was a lot of first timers. And it was really, really fascinating that I was not the only one, that this was not just my first in person, it was my first for the industry.
Mm.
Again, there was a huge sense of, everyone was introducing themselves, and it is such a welcoming industry. It really, really, really is. And I've heard that from several other first timers when they come to events too,
Mhm.
say the same thing, no matter what, group, regional group it is that you just do have this sense of welcome, which coming from experience, you don't get that in
Mm.
all industries. So it's an
Yep.
incredible feeling.
I love that. I'm taking so many notes here. I
Oh,
love you talk about how you learn from your competitors. I've learned so
yes.
much from
Yes.
my competitors. It's
Right.
amazing how that works. And then SRC, I got to speak there in
Mm-hmm. Yes.
2023, and we
Yes.
had
I have
so much
pictures of
fun.
us.
We had so much fun. But also, you talked about there's a lot of new people in the industry. And I think about that a
Mm-hmm.
lot because people will say when I go to an event, "Hey, Bruce, you know everybody." And I'll look in the room. I'm like, I don't know half the
Mm-hmm.
people in this room.
Right.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's important that you
Mm-hmm.
continue to attend events because there's always going to be new people. There's
There
always
is.
going to be new information. And I think that we've all created such this welcoming environment. People just
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable and part of that. So I applaud you
Mm-hmm.
for, especially for doing that in at CMARC and the organizations that you
Mm-hmm.
belong to. I think that's the biggest I think that's the biggest win as volunteers is that we can create that type of environment where people want to come, right?
Exactly. My whole thing is for me, it's the three things. It's collaboration,
Mm,
creation, and growth. I just constantly want to do that and I want to improve. And, we can create this in our councils as well. Creating comfortable environments where people can, be, honest about like, what, I think about to get laid off. I've heard
mm,
that a lot recently. So, knowing that they have an environment where they can talk to other people and network and really learn more about other companies and needs, it's a really safe space. And also, educating. Things are changing all the
mm,
time. And
mm.
especially this past 30 days, things have changed, drastically, so keeping up to date, is another thing that we want to make sure that people are very aware of. And and creating it all in one day where you get
Mm.
all of this information instead of having to, read this, and it's makes it easy for everybody too.
I love that. Collaboration, creation, and growth. Write that down. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk CMARC Spring Conference. You've got
Yes.
a conference coming up.
Exactly.
It's going to be March the 12th. And
Correct.
talk a little bit about that. I understand it's going to be at Top Golf, which I'm
Yes.
excited about that. Talk a little bit about what people can expect from this year's Spring Conference.
Yes, excellent. So our theme, we're playing off of the golf theme.
Mhm.
So it's teeing off for tomorrow. It's basically exactly kind of the feeling that I just said. It's we're creating great networking opportunities. We are trying to reach out to different people that might not have come before or haven't come in a while, and also just trying to prepare for the future. So you're going to see we're going to be focusing on immigration
Mm.
and taxation. We have a panel on that, preparing for the future for that and seeing any changes that there might be, getting questions answered, of course. Another thing that we're focusing on last fall, we focused on, we started a series called The Cost of a Failed Relocation. So we're continuing that with part two, and we're
Mm.
going to be adding in DSP. So, as some people know, DSP and some other like cultural training, language, those are some of the things that on paper looks easy to cut, but how much is it really costing companies if they cut these budgets, these items? How much is it truly really costing a company
Mm.
if a relocation is failed that could have been easily fixed with these services? So we're going to be talking on that, as I said, continuing that series.
And for those who don't know, DSP, talk about that.
Destination services. Yeah. So that is home finding, helping settling in, helping with getting set up for social security, getting set up for healthcare. In different countries, you have to set up different ways. Just because I have insurance through the US or my company, I still might have to register through the healthcare system in that country. So it's
Mm.
understanding these things. They help you along with that.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, and there's probably some people listening right now, and maybe they can't attend your event, but they're in a
Mhm.
city they can attend an event. Are these events only for people that are managing mobility services? Who can come to these
It's
events?
This is a
Or
great question.
who
Who
should come to
should?
these
Who
events?
should come? Absolutely. So, of course, any supplier in the realm of that has anything to do with mobility, of course, moving, storage. We do have someone who does collections. So,
Mm.
as we know, sad to say that relocations do fail, and
Mm-hmm.
people might have to be let go. And there's a lot of money to collect. So, we do have
Mm-hmm.
those services. There's someone that attends because of that. Mortgage, temp housing, me, real estate, anything like that. So that's
Yeah.
the provider side. But then on the corporate side, as I said, the traditional or as you're hearing, the traditional global mobility managers, that title might not be existing anymore in that
Mm-hmm.
company. So where we're seeing a lot of some of these roles and responsibilities getting lumped into either procurement or
Mm-hmm.
HR. So some of these people are more than welcome to come so that they're learning, more opportunities to network with other corporates asking these questions. Also, they're meeting suppliers that they didn't know even existed in the realm. I
Mm-hmm.
actually talked with one of our new corporate members who, this exact situation just happened where the mobility department was disbanded. And so those roles were handed down to the HR department.
Mm-hmm.
This person has been in their role for 15 years in HR, and mobility is a different beast. It is a completely different thing than your everyday HR responsibilities. So she had a wonderful RMC that she works with and still absolutely loves and works with. However, she's getting questions from leadership that she doesn't know the answers to. And so she's like, she didn't know where to turn. It was a moving provider actually
Mm-hmm.
that was like, I think that you might get some value out of CMARC.
Mm.
And so she brought her with her and she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, because she got to meet all of the different pieces of the pie, get
Mm.
her questions answered, get some different perspectives, but then also she met some peers so she can ask these questions that me and you can't answer, but
Mm.
she's gonna she now has a group of people to benchmark, and to bounce ideas and challenges and questions with. So she was like, I am so grateful for this. So it's just,
That is so good. I love
isn't
that
that
story
great?
because a lot of times when we think about that, we're thinking about, hey, we're thinking about yes, collaboration, we're thinking about resources, but the networking is
Mm-hmm.
like that's where the gold is, isn't it?
It is. It is. And sometimes we have to remember, yes, we are in this, to bring business, to our companies, but at the same times, we're also here to educate our clients,
Mm-hmm.
not all of our clients get to travel. So networking and meeting, people like, for instance, our immigration panel. I don't do anything with immigration, and thank goodness I don't. um, but you know what? I have a lot of clients that do not get to travel. It
Mm.
is actually kind of a luxury for corporates that, do actually get to attend things. So me being able to meet other pieces of the pie, and get information that I can bring back to a client, it is very, very helpful. So I love these networking opportunities because also another fellow client can ask me, they need someone in taxation or they need someone in
Mm.
immigration, and now I've met somebody and I'll be happy to forward on. Again, it's collaboration, it's growing, and whether it's myself or it's a fellow member.
Yeah, I've been a member of the North Texas Relocation Professionals since 2000, I want to say 2005. Served on
Mm-hmm.
the board from 2009 until 2023, I guess. But it was all about I would meet all of these wonderful providers that I had no idea what they
Hmm.
did.
Right.
And I learned what they did. And then all of a sudden, I had a customer say, "Hey, do you know anybody that does this?" And I could immediately connect with them. And that's
Exactly.
where the value is, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. And I love that. It's growth. As I
Mm,
said, like I love to learn.
mm,
I love to connect. And, it's just, there's something for everybody,
mm.
in every, organization, association, it's what do you want to get out of this? I just love it. I
That's
love
so
it.
good. I love that. Okay, so it takes a village
It
to put
does.
on a conference, doesn't it? And then you
It
got to
does.
have ways of paying for that as well. How
Mm.
about sponsors? Do you already have sponsors? If somebody's
Oh
listening
my
to that,
gosh.
can they sponsor? Talk about sponsors.
I'm blown away by our sponsorship committee this year. Oh my gosh, incredible! They've done an amazing job. So far, our annual sponsorships, we have 25 sponsors
Wow.
across 4 levels. It's incredible. Envoy Global, thank you so much. You're our platinum this year. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everyone
Mm.
who has become an annual sponsor, I thank you so much. There is still opportunities to sponsor our spring conference. So our annual has closed because we needed to print the step and repeat sign to advertise. But the conference sponsorships, there are still opportunities. We need centerpieces, we need keynote speaker, we need break, sponsors. So just, anything, if you still want to sponsor, there is an opportunity. Just please go to our website and you'll under sponsorship and you can see those opportunities.
I love that. And of course, it's going to be at Top Golf, so that tells me
It
that
is
there's probably going to be some fun along the way.
a little bit,
Do you have some
little bit.
fun kind of plan for those who are going to be attending? What should they expect?
We sure do. So after all of the fun and education is through, we're gonna roll our sleeves up and hit some balls at Top Golf. I'm excited. I think I'm the only person on the planet who hasn't actually been to Top Golf, even though I drive by one like every day. I still have not been. So I am really actually excited about it. So yes, we're gonna have a little happy hour and hit some balls, have a little competition.
I
So
love
we're
that.
excited about
I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I saw on your website, and by the way, I'm going to put all the links in the show notes so people can just click those links and get right where they need to go. But I saw where you also support a charity along the way.
Mhm.
Talk about that.
Sure, Nourish Up. We are so excited. This is going to be our second year partnering with them. I think it's actually maybe the third year because they joined together in 23 between two nonprofits and they combined and became Nourish Up. So, Nourish Up is an organization that is trying to end food insecurities in our community, in the Charlotte community. So, it's incredible. They do free grocery deliveries, they have free food pantries, and they're trying to provide as much food as possible in our communities. So what we are doing is raising money that we are going to donate for Nourish Up. We're going to be giving it to them at the end of the year. Last year we did an opportunity where we packed bags at their facility, and we're going to try to do that again this summer as well. More information to come. So
I
we're
love
excited to
that.
be partnering with them, and they're actually going to be there on the 12th as well, giving a little description of what they do. So we're excited.
I love that. And again, I'll put the link in the show notes if you want to learn more about Nourish Up or you want to learn more about how to get involved. And did I hear you say your keynote has not been announced yet, but that's coming soon?
They have been announced. I believe it was announced yesterday. I
Hmm.
don't know if you know this person. His name is Bruce. Do you know him? Maybe.
Going to be Bruce Waller. I'm so excited. I am absolutely pumped up to come to Charlotte. I'm so excited to talk about driving with purpose and really how to
Mhm.
transform your career beyond success and really building and strengthening relationships. It's going to be fun.
We are so excited. Your message is just right on par with, no pun intended there, with what we are trying to accomplish this day. So we were so excited that you were able to join us. So we're
Yeah.
so excited to have you.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my golf bag in the airplane,
So
but
in a carry on.
in a carry-on. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? No, this is a lot of fun. I'm so excited. You've got a great group. I've got to meet some of your board board members, and
Yes,
everybody's
incredible.
just like you said, everybody has a passion to
Hmm.
serve this industry, and
Hmm.
it sounds like a great event. So for those
Hmm.
who have not registered yet, you need to be sure and get registered. I will
Absolutely.
put the link in the show notes, and that way you can just click and figure out how you can get involved. Anything else you want to share about the event coming up?
We're just so excited. We do have a happy hour the evening before. It's
Oh,
another great networking opportunity. It's on the 11th and it's at the Piedmont Social House, and it's going to be great. So
okay,
we're excited about that. It's from 5:30 to 7:30. It's
perfect.
walking distance from the hotel that we have a room block at. So it should be pretty easy for everybody.
Even better. And I don't know if I shared this with you before, but I have a bucket list of visiting all 50 states.
Oh,
And I have yet to visit North Carolina. So
are
this is
you
going to be my
serious?
first visit to North Carolina. I'm super
Oh
excited.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so
So
excited.
get
And
ready.
yes, and Charlotte's great. You're going to
Yeah.
love it. You're
That's
going to
going to be
love
so
it.
much fun. Hey, I want to just shift. We're about to end the show here. I want to shift over
Mhm.
just to a few fun facts.
Oh, sure.
Okay, kind of interesting. I was just thinking about, hey, what's a couple of questions that I could ask Caroline? First question I want to ask is, have you ever had like a moment at a conference like you would never forget it? Maybe it's the first time you met someone, or maybe it's an embarrassing moment. What was there a moment?
Embarrassing moment. I love every event that I go to, but for me, like some of the standout things is I'm kind of everybody's going to roll their eyes at this. I'm kind of known for karaoke.
Mm,
And I love to do it. I don't know.
mm-mm.
I think that I'm good at it. How about that? And that's all that matters, you know. And I believe in the elf philosophy of singing loud and clear for all to hear. So that's my philosophy. But my some of my things are my favorite moment is when a friend of mine, Neil, and my friend Scott said that they were going to create a t-shirt for me, and it had Caroline Karaoke World Tour and all of the conferences that I have sang at. And I don't think that they've ever done it, but that still made me laugh hysterically because I'm like, okay, now we can add another one. We can add another, I can add another one from last week.
I love
So
that.
it just made me laugh so much.
Isn't it amazing how someone can impact your life from something like that? I
I
mean, it's
know.
something you
Mm-hmm.
like remember. I love that. Hey, what's something you would like to do more of?
Oh, I love this question. Collaboration and
Mm,
create. I know I've said that repeatedly, but
hmm
my personal goal for 2025 is to try to collaborate a little bit more.
hmm
And when I say create, I actually love creating. I was an event designer, so I still love to design in some way. So I have really enjoyed doing some marketing materials and that kind of stuff, like playing around with that. Personally, I would love to travel more. I have
mm.
two girls and a hubby, and we love to travel. And we went to Lisbon last year, and I'm ready to go on a big trip again this year. I don't know where, but
Mm,
I love to travel. As you can tell, I lived internationally, so
mm.
I love to continue that.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I want to ask you two more questions. The first question is, what are you most proud of? I mean, you mentioned you've been in the industry for the last 4 years. You've obviously done great work. You're leading one of our organizations. What's something you're proud of?
This just is kind of funny, but I am really proud of being elected president. It really meant a lot to me. I truly felt like that Sally Fields moment of you like me, you really like me. Like I genuinely did. I know I've only done this now for 2 months, but I just
Hmm.
thoroughly enjoyed it so much. And I'm just so proud of all of every single one of our board members is
Hmm.
crushing it. And
Hmm.
I literally mean that. They are incredible people. And it's just, I'm just so proud. I mean, it's incredible. I really genuinely am.
I posted something recently and it says, if you love your work, if you love your organization, if you love your association, you need to get out there and tell people about it. And when
Mm-hmm.
you're just now shared that, I'm like, she loves her association.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you. Thank you.
final question.
Oh, no.
Caroline, 10 years older, is
Oh,
around the corner and she's knocking at your door and you're going to go answer that door. What's she going to tell you?
I think that she would say, number one, you're going to be okay.
Mm,
You're going to be okay. And number two is slow down,
mm,
enjoy enjoy where you are at the moment, and that's everything, is trying to be more present.
mm.
As I said, I have two, I call them teeny tiny little baby girls, but they're 18 and 16.
Oh,
I have
wow.
a college daughter, and I have a junior, and
Mm,
you know, I blinked and this happened. And I just feel that sometimes I can say yes to everything and
mm,
rush, and I'm not enjoying the moments, because I'm going
mm,
to turn around and I'm going to have an empty house.
mm.
And you're going to have to be calling me, picking me off the ground from all of the tears that I'm going to be, I'm going to be doing. But, it's just, I just slow down and enjoy the moment.
Time goes by fast. I love that. So you got the spring conference for CMARC, which is
Yes.
again Charlotte Metro Area Relocation Council. It's
Yes.
coming to you March the 11th is a welcome
Is the
happy hour social event,
mhm.
and then of course March 12th is the conference at Top Golf. I will be putting all of the information in the show notes. Hey, if someone heard you today, Caroline, and they said,
Mhm.
she said this, and that really resonated with me. I want to follow her, or I want to connect with her, or maybe I
Mhm.
have questions about the conference. How's the best way for someone to connect with you?
Oh, wonderful. Just you can email me directly. I am at ccook@cwshousing.com, or I'm on LinkedIn.
Mm,
Yeah,
very good.
feel
I,
free.
I will
Yes.
put that in the show notes. And I'm so grateful that we connected
I
on that
know.
wonderful day in Las
I
Vegas.
know.
And we've gotten to know each other since. And then I get to see you in North Carolina on March the
Yes.
12th. So I cannot wait for that. And I appreciate your friendship so much. Thanks for
Oh my
coming on.
gosh, you too. And we text each other. I love it. I love it. And you're the first person that I thought of when we were talking about this conference. So thank you so much for coming. We're so excited about it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.